Hey, welcome to another video. This is going to be a quick one that's coming out of a coaching call that I recently had, and it's very important for people whenever you're in the early parts of this to stay focused on the prize or the goal. And what I mean by that is you need to write down early in the process what exactly you're hoping to achieve. If it's 50-50 custody, save certain things, you need to annotate those. You need to write them down on what the goals are. The second part about that is you need to look at it and say, is it realistic? Is that goal, or is that what you're trying to achieve? Is it actually achievable? For instance, if I would have said in my situation that I wanted full custody, I wanted to pay no child support, no alimony, 20 years marriage, the long-term marriage and all that kind of stuff with 3 kids, that is unrealistic, right? That's not really an achievable goal. Now, I could have strived for that. I could have done some things to try to push that. But at the end of the day, the likelihood for success of that is extremely low. You need to have realistic and achievable goals. It's important to discuss with an attorney or a barrister, depending on where you're at, to see what is realistic, right? So you know where you have the potential for success when going through this. So once you determine that, you ascertain what exactly it is that you're going for and what you're trying to achieve. Write it down. Put pen to paper and put down, these are the things, like for instance, in my situation, I wanted 50-50 custody. I wanted, guideline support, and I wanted spousal support or alimony, since I was going to have to pay it for the rest of my life, to be as low as it possibly could be. That was it. That was my goals. The reason it's important to write it down, because as you progress through this, more than likely, your ex is going to push your buttons, is going to take their bony little finger and go boop right in your eye. And you're going to start to lose sight of what you originally were going for. And you're going to want to cause them pain. You're going to want to get more. And although that's an understandable and a reasonable response to the trauma that you're going through, it doesn't help you accomplish your goals, and it can actually make things worse. And if you're dealing with attorneys that love litigation and love this chaos because it turns into billable hours, they will bleed you dry. Always refer back to the goals that you annotated early in the process, and then bounce everything off of that. Is that achieving what with the action I'm taking now? Is that achieving what I was trying to accomplish? If the answer is no, reevaluate. This is also really important, because like I said, when you start getting angry, you can look back and say, okay, this is what I want. And you have to be very cautious about your requirements creep, so to speak, before you start to say, no, I was wrong. I want more. I want more time. I want, instead of 50-50, I want 80-20. I want her to, them to pay me, whatever the case may be. And you need to be able to bounce the scenario of what you're dealing with the reality of what you're really trying to accomplish and what's realistic. The other thing on this is be incredibly careful who you confide in about the details of your situation. Do not talk to every person you run into about everything that's going on, everything that's happened, because 1, it doesn't help you, and 2, a lot of people are going to be flying monkeys or surrogates. Flying monkeys are real, and some people just want to be in the middle of the drama. They want to just play on it. They enjoy it. As you'll progress through life on this, you'll realize that there's a lot of toxic people out there that are not focused on anything other than creating chaos and drama. The other thing on this is understand that you are emotionally attached to this situation, to this person, and more than likely you will respond accordingly. Do not do that. Do not respond emotionally. Be very deliberate in your responses. Be very focused on how and strategic on how you respond to this. I often talk in a lot of my other videos about how this is a war and not a battle. You need to stay focused on the goals. You need to stay focused on what you're really trying to accomplish, and don't allow yourself to get caught up in the moment to react to whatever is happening, because that can undermine your long-term goal of what you're trying to accomplish, of what, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this video, those things that you wrote down, it can undermine that. You can make yourself look unstable. You can make yourself look angry and vindictive. You can do things that can negatively affect your custody and your outcome. Be very deliberate about and thoughtful about what you're going to do. Now, remember, this whole process, family court process, is extremely slow. Now, when you're being attacked through it, or whenever you're being affected either monetarily or you are not able to see your kids, it can ramp up the pain on your side. Don't fall for that trap. Take a deep breath. Go into this knowing that it takes time, that this is not a fast process, and use that to your advantage. Keep yourself as calm as possible. If your ex is making mistakes, leverage off of that. Let them make mistakes. Don't point those mistakes out. Just document it, write it down, what's going on, so that you can use it as either a negotiating point, or if you ultimately end up in court, that you have that to potentially help your case. It is so difficult in these situations because it's so emotional. You cared about this person. You cared about the relationship. Even if you're so angry and frustrated, a part of you still is trying to grapple with that reality, and that's okay. But the problem is, or the issue with that is it makes everything that I was just talking about that much more difficult, because you are, well, because you don't have an objective view on this, because you're not 3 feet back, or you're not at the higher level looking down on it and being able to observe it. But that's what you want to do. And if you're able to, or when you're able to do that, you can start making decisions that are more strategic, that help you and your kids, if you have kids, to ultimately get the best the best deal you can potentially get. Stay focused on the prize. Write it down. Keep it with you. Refer back to it a lot, so that you know what you're working toward, that you know what you're trying to get. You know the baseline of what's important to you. Yeah, if you can get extra stuff, that's fine, but that you don't put yourself in a bad situation. So I know this is kind of a quick video. I just wanted to drive this point home. Hopefully you have this all under control and you have not had any issues with this. Would love to hear what your thoughts on this whole thought process. If you could leave your comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye.